Looking forward with Ryan Hughes.
Ryan Hughes.
It's up to Rhino to answer this challenge.
Your leader, Ryan Hughes, 105. Hughes on the inside. Hughes on the inside, though, trying to get a run at
Ryan
him.
Hughes has got a problem with the bike. He's trying to push it to the line.
Looking forward with Ryan Hughes. Only on Big 49.
And
Syracuse.
you're on, dude.
You're
on.
We're live.
We're
We're live on Big 49 with me, Rhino. You can call in tonight if you want, 866-492-4449. And we can talk live on the radio. So, or we just listen to me. But we're on it. All right, what are we talking about tonight, bro?
Well, looks like we have some interesting things that have happened. First of all, last week we had the last round of the SMX, the Super Motocross Championship.
Yep.
And Jett Lawrence took the $1 million prize.
$1 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you had Hayden Deegan take the $500,000 prize.
For the second year in a row.
For the second year in a row, which
Two of them,
means
yeah.
the kid's already a millionaire.
Yeah, he's making big time bucks.
Making big time
He's making like it's funny. It's like, you know, because I saw him come up through the ranks and the riders that he was racing against.
Yep.
Where he's at.
Yep.
And all the riders he is racing against. It's like they're not even racing.
No, they're not.
It's like they're not even racing.
They're-
It's like they're not even in the same hemisphere. Like this kid is just put this thing in supercharge of the race wins, the dominance, the speed, and the money that he's making. Is making like these other kids like they're doing a different sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like racing a different avenue. It's like he's racing in America and they're racing in like the Philippines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like or Siberia. You know what I mean? Where like there is no racing.
There is.
So, you know, you have to applaud both of them. You know, both of them, and I've said this before, is that if you look at them, there's so much more sound in their technique.
Yeah.
And that's the case. It's like you don't see any faults in Deegan's technique. He doesn't bend at the knees first. His hips are always rotated out. Even when he comes in the corners, his hips are rotated out. You don't see a lot of mistakes. And if he does make mistakes, he's not sacrificed by them because he's being thrown off the bike like you see a Hampshire.
Yeah.
Or little bailey bobbles and mistakes like you see from Levi Kitchen.
Okay.
A lot of butt tucking, right?
Yep.
And so you get to Jett. You know, you get Jett. He has this perfect technique, but also he has such an approach to it. You know, that he's very patient. He carries a lot of momentum, and he almost races like he's like the Tour de France or something,
Yeah.
like a bicycle race. Like he's getting the tour. They don't just take off. They find their certain point. They wait. Then boom, they attack for a little bit, and then they settle in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing as you're seeing him sit there like with Eli. He's done it 3 times I've seen. He sits there, and then boom, right at the last bit, he passes him and then attacks 2 laps, pulls 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then can sit there.
Yeah.
So one, that is the ability to have the confidence, you know, to put it on the edge, have the technique and speed to be able to go over that edge, and then 3, have the trust in himself to be able to handle that 2 to 3 second gap and just stick there. Most people can't handle a 2 to 3 second gap. It becomes a panic because they still can hear the guy.
Yeah.
They have to have 10, 15 seconds, so to speak. Or 3's not enough, I need 10. 10's not enough, I need 30, and now they cartwheel it. So, you know, with Jett, you see that, and it's kind of cool to watch because there's a different approach. And again, he's a very, very, very pretty rider. You know, on the motorcycle, he's like a Bale, he's like a Bailey, he's like a Lachine. You know what I mean? And Stefan Evert's a very beautiful rider on the motorcycle.
Oh, definitely.
You know, Deegan now, on the other hand, he has 1, he's very confident.
Yep.
True. 2, he has the speed.
Okay.
3, he has the fitness. And 4, he's a big kid. You know, for 19 years old or whatever he is, compared to the kids that he came up with, he's a big kid. He's like a man compared to a lot of these kids that he came up with.
Yeah.
You know? Because all these other kids that he came up with are still kind of racing amateur, bro. You know?
Yeah.
And so you see this difference in these kids, and it's not just one thing. It's a combination of things. And so in the sport, everybody thinks, oh, it's just his bike. Oh, it's just his fitness. Oh, it's just his mind. Well, no, it's a combination of things that makes somebody that good right now and that dominant. Because these 2 guys have dominated the sport this year.
Yeah.
You know, and even, Deegan lost one moto. Jett came back from not racing the whole pretty much, for a couple months and coming back starting to win automatically.
Yeah.
And so there's not one thing. There's a combination of things that's causing them to be head and shoulders above everybody. And but damn, do I wish they had that SMX series when I raced. Maybe not to have 31 races, but to be able to pocket a couple $100,000 in a couple weeks just from doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been too bad.
All
That
right.
wouldn't have been too bad because, once you're done racing, and you don't make that money again. And a lot of times you get done racing, you left with not much. Because the sport doesn't pay out much. It doesn't give much. Your career is very short, and there's nothing for you after the racing is done.
That's true.
There's no help. There's no direction. There's no, partnership. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's where you kind of got to be kind of whorish a little bit in the sport, is get what you can get and get out. You know what I mean? If you can get out safely.
If you can get out safely. Yeah. So that was pretty big news, right? And then I heard that Cooper Webb is going to be riding 250s in the donations.
Yeah.
250s.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, you can't deny. Is, like I say, I think we talked to us before or whatever. Is he the best choice? I wouldn't say he's the best choice, because I think maybe a Levi or somebody who's been riding 250s all year, riding outdoors all year, would be a better choice. But do I applaud him standing up, not doubting, and saying I'll race the nations even if I have to ride a 250 all day long, Now
Okay.
Cooper just went up a couple notches on the hero status because of that.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be perfect. Didn't have to be his class. Didn't have any excuses. He just jumped up and said, I'm going to support this riding a 250F. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So now all the other riders I got picked before that got hurt, understand. But denied the chance to go, shame on you. Shame on you. So I applaud Cooper, and I also applaud Eli.
Yeah.
Because Eli, he's a legend. He's the godfather kind of the sport right now. And for him to say, hey, you know what, I'll go and do this, that's saying something.
Yep.
That's saying something. So I applaud Eli also for taking that, taking the role and getting out there and representing America, because again, we can't lose this history. If there's heritage in
By the
this,
way, if you want to push that mic up a little bit.
oh, there we go.
There you go.
There's heritage in the sport.
Yeah.
And the donations has been around for, like we talked about, 60 years maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's longer than probably anybody's been in the sport except maybe one guy, DeCoster, and that is another thing that I have an issue with. Of why is that we have the same guy being the being the team manager that doesn't even come from our country.
True.
That just blows me away.
So
there's so many other riders that could come in and do a great job. Like, why don't you have Ricky and James, be the team managers? Why don't you have the dream team of Bailey, Osho, and Johnson being the leaders one year? Why do we always have to have the same guy every year that comes from a different country?
Who apparently doesn't put anything into it.
He doesn't put anything into it. I've been on 3 of them. He didn't put anything into it. So that is my thing. But also, we can't let the history go from the sport, because it's getting stripped and stripped and stripped. Tracks are changing. Cool sections are changing. All this stuff is changing, and then we're not keeping the history. So we have to keep something. And so I applaud these guys that are going to the nations, because that's the only way for you to represent your country in something that you put your whole life into, and the only way to represent our country through motocross.
Yeah.
Right? It's the only way.
Well,
so why are we denying it? Why don't we go there full force? Why don't we go there 100%? Because again, this is what's making your life motocross.
I'm thinking
motocross is the biggest
it's a vet team, though.
In America, motocross is the biggest in the world.
Our team.
So why not go there and show that dominance, show that pride?
Oh, totally.
But
our team is a total vet team. I mean, you got Aaron Plessinger.
Yeah.
You've got Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's an awesome.
Yes, I 100%. That's how it should be.
That's a vet team, right there.
That's how it should be. If you're taking guys from their first year, that's because they're 100% badass, or all the people above them said no.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, Deegan should go 100%. But you know,
Well,
if
he's getting that thing out of his
yeah,
wrist.
if you have an injury, you have an injury.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. You know what I mean? I understand that too. But you know, there's a time to step up, and you know, I'm sure next year that he would go because I know Brian's not you know, against any of that, and
No.
you know, I don't think Brian's making all the decisions anymore. You know, I think Hayden's kind of taking some reins and saying, "No, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that."
He's definitely
know?
put his mark down. I remember when he first got into this and he was kind of running in the shadow of his dad.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of like, okay.
Well, it didn't take
Brian's-
much. It didn't take much to get past that. You had to
Yeah.
win 2 races and it was done. You
Yeah,
know?
it's like
So,
you're Brian Deegan's kid, you know, blah blah blah. And the
yeah,
next thing you know,
now you're Hayden Deegan's dad. that changed overnight, very quickly, very quickly, bro.
It's dad.
Yeah.
So that was a very cool thing that happened. And on top of all of that, then you have, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Jett Lawrence coming in and just dominating on this last round. I mean, that was great. That was technique all the way.
Well, it's one confidence.
Yeah.
It's 2, you know, drive.
Yeah.
You know, and 3, just the ability that kid has to be able to race a motorcycle like he can.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen anything like this ever.
Okay.
You know, we've seen guys come in, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, we saw James come in and instantly win. We saw Bradshaw come in and win. You know, we've seen some guys come in and win, but not win every single championship that they've entered.
Yeah.
You know, James came in and won, but then he's just a shit ton of crashes. Just
Yeah.
crashing his brains out.
Yeah.
Because his technique couldn't handle the speed that he is capable of going because he rode so flat-footed. So flat-footed. If you go back and watch, he rode so flat-footed, and that's why he was kind of all over the place wild, where Jett is pristine with his technique. So I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this in such a short amount of time.
Would you say Jett Lawrence is the Tiger Woods of motocross?
Yeah, of course he's a Tiger Woods of motocross. You know, again, we've never seen anybody come in and dominate like this quickly. Now, will he be the best ever? I have no idea. That time will tell. The best ever has to win more Supercross races than Jeremy, has to win more championships than Ricky.
Yep.
You know, all that. So that's for, you know, the gods to know that. But what we've seen already, we haven't seen it before, and it's not by luck. So this kid came in instantly after being off the couch and won. Then had a little bit of bad race for him, probably an amazing race for most, but a little bit of a bad race for him. And then the next weekend, he made sure that there was nobody in his way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, he had to pass one guy and one guy only, and that was one of the best riders ever, and that was Eli. Other than that, he led every lap, every whole shot, everything.
Okay.
You know, and didn't make a bobble, didn't make a mistake, didn't make anything. So that just shows true dominance. And he has, and after a while, he's going to have everybody's number.
Yeah.
He already has Sexton's number, I think, because it seems like Sexton gets a little bit tight, a little bit nervous when Jett gets on the track, not because he's scared of him or anything. It's just like he's been hasn't been able to prove that he can beat him straight up, you know, race in, race out.
Yep.
And then all the people that talk a bunch of shit about it too, well, that puts a little bit more pressure on you. Like, oh man, I got to do this. So you almost start to override a little bit. And that's what it seems like with Sexton. So if you watch him at a couple races, like let's say, Hangtown this year, when he came from last to first.
Yep.
There was no hesitation. There was a flow. There was this. There was softness. There was, all this stuff. But then once that little bit of that I got to beat Jett comes in, it's like he overrides a little bit. Like I got to go faster than he needs to go. And then that's when those mistakes happen, and that's where those bobbles happen and those little crashes happen, where I think if I was his coach and this and that, I would say, hey, look, we got someone super fast called Jett Lawrence, so we have to just stick with him. We have to stick. How are we going to beat Jett Lawrence? The only way to beat Jett Lawrence is by beating him with fitness, if you can, because that was Ricky's MO. He wasn't as fast as James, but he would beat James by fitness. He would just hang until he started seeing James kind of start to slow down because he couldn't pull away from him and he was tired, and then he would attack. You know, so again, you can't just have one way to beat some people. Some people you can beat with speed. Some people you can beat with, knowledge. Some people you have to beat with fitness, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm always impressed when I watch Jett ride, and I'm always impressed when I watch Hayden ride.
Okay.
I mean,
What are your thoughts on Hunter?
Hunter, yeah. I mean, Hunter surprised me this year towards the end. You know, in the beginning, it was like, damn, what's going on, son? But then towards the end, it's like, you know, he came on, and again, it's just that confidence. It's that one race, 2 races of, oh, okay, I can do it, or oh, well, these guys aren't going as fast as I thought. Because a lot of times that you're getting beat when you're not up there, you're thinking these guys are going faster than what they really are.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like you got to go fast. But once you get up there and you hang with them for a little bit, then you're like, oh, well, they're not going as fast as I thought they were. I just needed a good start. I needed to just ride my own race.
Yep.
And I needed the race to come to me, right?
Yep.
And then you find out that you're just as fast as them. So, you know, sometimes that happens, and that's what I think happened to Hunter, is that he just kind of gained some confidence. Maybe the bike is suiting him better a little bit more now, the 25, because I heard that Honda 25 is really good.
Yeah.
And but other than that,
as far as
I think, you know, his technique is sound, his fitness is good.
As far as platforms are concerned,
he's very he's very determined. He just doesn't have that little thing that Jett has, that ability to just put power to the ground, make up time in any little section, and not by overriding, by just being almost so present on the motorcycle.
Well, they put
you know?
Hunter on the 25 platform before they put Jett on it.
Yeah, because Jett was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but, you know, instantly, you know, he liked the bike, I guess, so.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, you know, Hunter, I don't think Hunter will ever be, you know, what Jett is, and I don't know how he can still be happy with his brother, because his brother just takes everything from him. If anything's going to happen, it happens to Hunter. If there's a big race to be won, Jett wins it. If there's big money to be won, Jett wins it.
Yeah.
You know, even if they tie in points, Jett still wins. I don't know if I would be cool with my brother. I'd be like, you know what, I don't know if I like you anymore. No, I don't think I like you anymore. No, you're done. You're done.
Well, I look at it from, because, you know, I've kind of had a little interaction with those guys, and as brothers are concerned, they're very tight knit.
Yeah,
they're a very tight knit group.
Yeah,
you know, those two brothers love each other a lot, so I don't see that really pushing them apart necessarily. But what I do see happening here is that as a unit, you know, Hunter's got to figure out, like, where do I shine? Like, where's my day in the sun?
Yeah,
and that could be, you know, just as a personal issue, not between him and his brother, just as a personal thing. Like, I gotta finally come into my own. Yeah,
I mean, again, you look at the ratings or whatever of how many fans you have or how many whatever. His brother's up here. You know, you look at championships, his brother's up here. You know, if his bank account comes across your bank account, you're like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah,
he's triple the money I have. You know, I don't know how there couldn't be a little bit of enviness in that.
I would always just tell Jett, you're buying lunch.
Yeah, you're always buying lunch. You're buying lunch, you're buying dinner, you're buying everything.
Yeah, you're buying lunch, because there's just no way.
Yeah.
So that was a big amount of news this last week. And then on top of all of that, then we have some other weirdnesses going on with these platforms kind of bouncing around, because it's kind of, you know, come out in the public that there is not going to be a Husqvarna next year.
Yeah, I hear that there's not going to be a Husqvarna and
gas.
Yeah, it's going to be gas, I guess. But there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of rides that are going away.
Yeah,
and in Europe, the same thing. I don't think they're having a Husqvarna team. Hurlings was told that you have to take this, or go look for something else.
So is he going KTM again?
He'll be on KTM, but he says you have to take this salary, or you have to go somewhere else.
Really?
Yeah. And so again, just like we talked about, that KTM came in trying to swing 3 dicks.
Yep.
I mean, to me, that when they did that, I was like, this is the dumbest move you're ever going to make, because you're selling motorcycles, but you're taking away sales from the brand, your brands that you have.
Well,
and the only way that you can make money is on selling motorcycles. So if the economy goes down, your whole system goes down, so to speak. You know, you got Honda that has cars, you have Kawasaki that makes ships.
Yeah.
You know, you got Yamaha that makes everything too. So
yeah,
you got these companies that this is like just a backyard fun thing with the motocross, but with KTM, it's their bread and butter. And so that's one thing, but then also Monster is cutting everybody's deal.
Really?
Anybody that's sponsored by Monster will have to take a pay cut this year, no matter what, or they're cutting you from their team, and they're not paying this and not paying that because the stock is down.
Wow.
So this is going to start to happen in the sport,
Let's come back on that because you already smoked Moto 1.
Okay, we're already done with Moto 1. I guess we're pretty fast, huh?
You're very fast.
Yeah, very fast today.
Moto 1 you smoked, so we're going to come back, talk about that. We're going to play a promo, play a song. We will be right back after the cult.
Wish I could answer them all. Sorry, guys.
All right, you're back. We're back.
We're back.
Moto 2.
Alive, in charge, baby. All right, what's the next question? What's the next thing? What can I share with everybody if I have anything to share
Moto
with everybody?
2, let's start off like talking a little bit more about these platforms that are be bouncing around a little bit. One of them actually is kind of exciting. Actually, two of them are exciting. You got Triumph and you got Ducati.
Ooh,
and
Ducati's a sexy bike, baby.
I know, and I've heard some rumors. So I just wanted to get your ideas on the platforms, and then I'll throw in some of these rumors.
Okay. Yeah, you have to fill me on the platforms and rumors because I don't really follow the sport much except on how people ride the motorcycle.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Well, we had a rumor that Ken Roczen could be going to Ducati.
Yep.
I heard that rumor, which is interesting because of all the work that he's done on Suzuki to actually improve the platform.
Yeah, but again, all right, I'll go to Suzuki. I'll do all this work, but is there a new bike coming? I don't think so. But the opportunity to maybe race a Ducati.
Okay.
To be the first guy in a Ducati. How much press are you going to get? You're going out kind of towards the end of your career. So do something that's cool. Do something that excites you. Do something that you can maybe have a job in later on.
Okay.
With the Suzuki, there's no future.
Okay.
What are you going to do? So far, they haven't come out with a bike, and I don't know if they plan on being a bike.
Other than the fact that he could probably just own Suzuki at this point.
Yeah, maybe. But, with Ducati, you have that thrill. So, same thing with Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it because, man, he's always just Ferrari.
It's Ferrari.
So, if you can end your career with that brand of Ferrari, well, then it's like you went to the pinnacle. And not saying that Ducati is the pinnacle of motocross right now, but Ducati has a name, and Ducati has this special vibe to them.
Yeah.
And if you watch MotoGP, they dominate MotoGP. So it's not like a car company coming in making a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle company coming in making a motorcycle, just a different type of it.
Okay.
So the engine's going to be good. The technology, the masterminds behind it are going to be there. The money's going to be there. The support's going to be there. And I feel they're doing it right because they're jumping into the 450 class. And the 450 class gets more press than the 250 class.
Yeah.
So if you want to be seen, then jump in the 450 class. Because if you don't really know the sport, you didn't really know that Triumph race this year.
Okay, so that kind of leads me into the other rumor mill, which actually was Joey Savacci was going to be on Triumph. And then all of a sudden, that got thrown away real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. I know he's on he's on Powers, whatever, Honda.
Yeah.
He's on that team. So I don't know. I don't know what the whole deal was, but it is what it is. I don't think it's Savacci's deal. I don't think it's Triumph's deal. I just think that it's just not meeting in the middle, not seeing eye to eye. And but yeah, if Kenny could get on the Ducati, I think that'd be great because he has a lot of experience with motorcycles from KTM to Suzuki to Honda.
Okay.
He can bring all that into this next adventure and then get a shit ton of press.
He'll definitely get a lot of press.
And then get a badass road bike too. That's what I would definitely put in my contract. Okay, give me this, but you give me that 996 or whatever it is. Yeah, for sure, man.
Get the 996.
And a test ride on a MotoGP bike.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Got it. little afternoon on a track somewhere.
Yeah.
Laguna Seca. So there was that, and then I've heard a rumor in the rumor mill. Now, this is a quiet rumor, but because of this whole Husqvarna thing, this whole Husqvarna move around, I've kind of heard that Mookie is on the out in the prowl, and he could be a good fit for Triumph. Yeah,
I guess you could put Mookie on there. I would do, yeah.
Malcolm, he's a consistent rider.
I guess if you're gonna get two people, who those two people would you get that are out there right now? Yeah, Kenny's one, experience two. Malcolm because he still has some speed. Didn't really show that much this year. I was a little bit upset.
And do you think Malcolm fishes too much?
I don't know if it's fishing too much. I just think who's training them is training them incorrect again. Or nowadays, like Eldon, I just think that they just go the wrong way.
Got it.
Just it's different type of training nowadays. There's a different approach to it. And I just think that maybe that's it, because Christian didn't do shit this year either.
Yeah.
Did nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't know he even raced sometimes. So I'd say that those two guys be good, or I would do like I say, a Roczen and then get a younger guy.
Okay.
And groom him. Groom him. Let Kenny groom him.
So
so get somebody that's coming into the 450 ranks and try to groom them a little bit more.
So who would you, if you were looking at the 250 ranks right now, and you could say, who could we pull up? Or are you thinking this is a Levi Kitchen? Are you thinking this is a Smith? Are you thinking that this is a I don't know, the Hill brothers are too old now. Too old now.
I would say if I was going to get anybody, if I was going to get anybody, maybe a Smith.
Smith. Okay.
I mean, I think he's going to be out soon. Maybe he has a little bit more of a smoother style. You're not going to get Kitchen. He's still on Pro Circuit. Still needs to win some titles, things like that. And like I say, there's nobody in the 250 class that is really setting it on fire except Deegan. I guess the only two people that I would say, three people that I would say that could really do something is Deegan, Shimoda, and maybe Kitchens, but Kitchens has to fix his technique.
Okay.
He can't be coming on a 450 tucking butt like that. You're going to be the same as Plessinger. Plessinger rounds and tucks butt a lot, and he's there some races, but he's not there a lot of races. He's there for half the race, and he's gone a lot of half the races. He's a little bit sloppy. Okay. But he needs to tune up his technique. The guys that are beating him are so much more sound in their approach, so much more sound in their technique, and so that's going to create more speed, going to create more efficiency, and create less mistakes.
Yep.
That wins races.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm not that. I don't know. I mean, all those guys are fast. All those guys are good. I guess the last race, you can say Pierce Brown was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hold on, bro.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. I mean, that kid put it down.
Finally.
Put it down, and he beat Deegan fair and square. There was no, if this didn't happen or if that didn't happen, fair and square. So applaud to him.
Pierce is a good rider. I have a good family friend, Michael Mosman.
Yeah.
And Michael's a good guy. Had a lot of accidents. He's had a lot of, he's gotten his chime ring rung a few times.
I think we all have.
yeah. Few too many concussions. But he was one of the only riders I ever saw early in Jett's career that could ever put Jett in his place.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched him a little bit, but I haven't haven't seen him in a few years like really show, I guess, what everybody's excited about.
Yeah.
He I didn't watch him come through the amateur ranks. He kind of just jumped on there, and then so I don't know if
I'm good friends with his brother too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I've talked to him a bit.
Yeah.
Good kid.
Michael's a great kid.
Yeah, they're all great kids. So, but yeah, that's it, and we'll see what happens with Ducati. We'll see what happens, with Husqvarna, Gas, KTM. I mean, I've heard some things that the only reason KTM still has a racing team is because Red Bull sponsors it.
Okay, so last break you jumped into some of this Monster talk that I've heard the same thing because they're run by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola owns Monster beverage. And yeah, there's a stock price, and there's other problem with Coca-Cola right now that I don't know that has made the trades or the press much.
They found cocaine in it?
Other than that would actually be a good thing for them right now.
They used to in the get-go when they first made cocaine.
Yeah, that's why I call it Coca-Cola.
Yeah, cocaine in it.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Coca in it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was Coca-based.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down to Ecuador and get cocoa leaf tea.
Yeah.
And cocoa leaf this and cocoa leaf liquor. And also, you can get the cocoa leaves off the cocoa tree.
Yeah.
Whop it up, put it in your mouth, and chew on it.
Yeah. They do that down there.
I know. I've done it. I tried it. Again,
of course you did.
I was down there. I'm like, fuck.
Of course you did. You're like, I'm going to go on my walkabout.
Yeah, well, I was just saying. Well, when in Rome, right?
Yeah. When in Rome.
I don't know. I didn't invent the shit.
So, actually, it's interesting. They do that. You know why they do that, don't you? Because they have such high mountains down there that if you chew on the coca plant, the leaves themselves, and you take a little calcium bicarbonate and put it in your lip, as you're walking, the lack in altitude and the light oxygen, your body adapts to it much better because you're...
But then you lose your teeth.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
lose
because
your
half
teeth.
those guys down there have no teeth.
No teeth.
because of chewing on that shit.
Yeah. It'll mess you up. So
There's always a consequence to everything having fun.
the yin and
You know
the
what I
yang.
mean? Yeah. That's what you start to realize in life. You start to chase shit, and it's like, well, but then there's this.
But
you
then
know?
there's
there's
that.
that. Yeah, there's always that consequence. So
So,
Yeah.
where I was actually going with this was because of Coca-Cola, they have brought this new can out that you apparently can stencil on the side of the can your favorite little phrase. Okay. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And so people were stenciling, love and this and that and the other. And then somebody decided to start putting, if you're Islam, put Allah on the can.
Oh shit.
And
Shit.
And if you're Jewish, you put the Torah
boy.
on the can.
Oh boy. Then this guy that follows Christianity,
Wrote-
and this guy came there.
So-
I got a problem. You offended me.
So not even that.
No.
If you type in Jesus on the can, a sign comes up on their little kiosk that's making you your custom printed can that says this is a forbidden word and you can't put it on the can.
No way.
Now, yeah, exactly.
Why is that?
Well, that's my point.
What if your name is Jesus?
Exactly.
What if your name is Jesus?
What if your name is Jesus?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing as what I talked to you about with my problem. You know.
Yeah.
So all you people listening to me, anybody that followed me saw me put that video up of the woman in my life, her daughter, and again watched the sun come up. We walked the rock circles. We're holding chickens. We're swinging from the rings. And I was saying no Wi-Fi, no iPhone, no iPad, blah, blah, blah. Very, very, very sweet. I got my video taken down from Instagram saying that I'm sexually promoting child nudity and all this stuff. I mean, I was blown away. And it's my fault that I put that on there, not the pedophile and not the pervert's fault for liking it or whatever. It was insanity to me that I got flagged for something that was supposed to be very innocent and sweet, a 4-year-old child, and you're telling me that you're gonna flag me, you're gonna kind of punish me on my Instagram for sexually promoting a child with no shirt on.
It's
what?
Dumb. It's so dumb.
So how about saying, hey Ryan, you know what? We want to protect you because there are perverts and pedophiles out there.
Yeah.
So we're trying to protect you. Not that you're going to get fined or you're going to get flagged and this and that because I'm just trying to do something sweet and just having fun with this little girl that we wake up in the morning and we hike instead of getting on there and watching fucking Charlie Brown on your iPad. It's just blown away by how censored everything is and how manipulated everything is that that we're all following and we're allowing it, and that's what it is. It's neutering everybody.
Yeah,
and we've had this talk before about how this world is getting neutered by these corporations, the media, by these religions, by also by thinking, by becoming what you think other people think of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, you're living up to their image.
You're living up to a fictitious image of what you think other people are thinking of you. Just like this Instagram thing. Like I'm talking to a ghost right now. I have no idea. I have no control of who's going to follow me. No. I have no control of who's going to jump on my feed live.
No.
I have no control of who is going to start liking my stuff.
None whatsoever.
And I have no control of of who I'm trying to, because it's a competition. This guy wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. I got to wake up at 4:30. This guy ran 6 miles. I got to run 8. This guy made $1 million. I got to make $2 million. This girl has these lips. I'm going to have fucking bigger lips. You know what I mean? It's just like it's complete competition, but you're not competing against anybody because you're competing against somebody for 2 to 3 minutes. You're not competing with them for the rest of the day.
No.
Right? And you don't even know these people are real. You don't know anything. So it's like you're competing against a ghost on Instagram from the likes, the followers, and the people on there that you're trying to keep up with.
Yep.
You don't have no control of it. If you're at a race, I have control of the guy next to me, the lines I take, how I ride this motorcycle. I have control to to want to. There's a championship at the end. There's a trophy at the end. There's money at the end.
Yep.
But there's nothing on this Instagram that you're going to gain from.
Nope.
Social media, it's a weird thing. It's just like even life. Life, we come down to this place not knowing it, but maybe we know it, right?
Yeah.
We're the only creature on earth that has to pay for it to live. It's a blessing to be here. It's magic, but it's also a struggle.
Yep.
And everything you become, everything you take, everything you have, everything you are, and everything that you gain, you don't take with you.
No.
So it's like fictitious. It's a lesson. It's a big experience.
It's a lesson.
Because an experience doesn't have a name to it. It's an experience. Not, if I went riding, you had an experience, but you rode a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right? But just an experience on its own is just that in its plain form.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't bring anything with you, it's a struggle and you got to pay to live here and you don't take anything with you, then it's nothing else except an experience. Yeah. And you can be missing the whole experience by trying to become, achieve, and be, or walk a certain line to get to some place you think happens after life that nobody ever has proved, right?
Well, that's why it's called faith, though.
That's called blind faith.
It's
blind faith is just ridiculous.
Well, it's why it's called faith, though. I mean, it's
blind. Blind faith is ridiculous. Either you know or you don't know, man. It's black and white.
Yeah,
it's black and white. The only thing you're doing is the only thing you're doing is trying to convince your kid that there's Santa Claus.
Oh, once again, there's faith. I mean, there's faith.
Yeah, but again, then there's my argument too. Is like, again, because the 4-year-old came into my life a little bit without
it's the magic of childhood.
Yeah, but I make sure that no, your mom's Santa Claus.
Your mom's Santa Claus.
No, your mom, because again, the thing about this, when you're born, the two people you trust the most is who? Your mom and dad.
Yeah, that is
true. You trust them the most.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have this story of there's this guy that comes and gives you presents, right?
Okay.
He gives you this presents. This guy comes and gives you presents, and then they start using that against you. Oh, if you're bad, if you don't eat this, I'm going to tell Santa. If you're bad, I'm going to write letters to Santa. You this and this. And all of a sudden, one day they say, I'm just joking with you. We're lying to you. Santa isn't real. You don't think that it does something to you subconsciously, that the two people you trust the most lied to you about one of the biggest stories ever and used it against you to try to make you a good kid?
I'm with you 100% on the outcome there.
You know what I mean?
At the same time, I look at it from the perspective of,
there
was a real guy named Saint Nicholas. Okay?
Yeah.
And he was a benevolent man who actually did good for people. And that's where the legend of Santa Claus started.
Yeah.
And if you want to teach your child how to be a better person, how to be more benevolent and more forgiving and more understanding of other people, putting people as an example in their lives, like St. Nicholas, and saying, hey, listen, live your life like this man did. And this is his life, and this is his legacy. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good nature and a good thing.
Yeah,
to
I mean, you can do that, but you can't be promising that.
No,
you can't be promising that he's coming down chimneys.
No,
and you can't be using it as reality and then using it against him, and then all of a sudden saying, "I'm just joking with you."
The carrot at the stick is
I'm just
wrong.
joking with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just when you start going back after you've been a parent for a while, because my son's 26, my daughter's 22.
Does your son still believe in Santa Claus?
Yes, I haven't told him yet. He's still a good kid.
Okay,
he's still a good kid. Yeah, so I don't know. Just
he's listening right now.
These are the thoughts that I have. You know what I mean? These are the thoughts I have. Because why do we do everything the same when everything is broken right now? Yeah. Why do we do everything the same when everything's polluted right now? Why do we do everything the same when everything's so dirty right now? You know, why are we doing everything the same when everybody's so sick right now? Wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Change ways, question things, think outside the box, be a little bit different, be unique. Because again, this is another thing is I get sick and tired of it, but it is what it is always being called weird, always being called crazy. I get that all the time. And so I don't know if anybody else has ever got that, but my outlook on that is like, all right, so you're calling me crazy. All right. But we live in a society that is mad, that is crazy, that has lost its way.
Yeah.
But you fit in with it. And you think the same of it, and you follow it, and you believe the way that society does. Yes. Well, then you're crazy. You're crazy. Because, again, life only makes one of a kinds. Life only makes masterpieces. Life does not make duplicates. So if you're just fitting in with the realm and fitting in with the norm and fitting in with the masses,
you're not playing your game.
You're fake.
Yep.
You're fake, and you're being a duplicate, so you're crazy.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
And so that's where people don't get it, is that the world right now needs unique people. The world right now needs people that think outside the box. The world needs authentic people, not people that are just following into line, just so that they can keep their job, keep their paycheck, and keep everybody thinking that they're a good person.
So what are your thoughts on this P. Diddy thing?
Well, that's being really unique, I guess. But the bad thing is that everybody's jumping up in the clubs. This music was down with Diddy. Was down with Diddy. All these boys were down with Diddy, and they were the suppliers of the 1,400 lube bottles and stuff like that. So
did you see that sheriff's photo?
Dude, these guys. I mean, that just shows
the kiddie pool.
But again, that just shows what's happening. So if you're obsessing over these people that are supposed to be popular, if you're idolizing these stars and these athletes and these entertainers, and they're this type of person, well, that's just showing you what you are.
Yep.
That just shows how little you are if you have to idolize somebody that you turned out is to be kind of so corrupt and so polluted. You know what I mean? It's like people have such little honor of themselves, such little trust of themselves, that they have to put everybody on a pedestal.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing to me. It's the weirdest thing. They have to put everybody on a pedestal because they think of themselves less than.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no honor in themselves. There's no trust in themselves. There's no understanding in themselves. There's no compassion in themselves.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
They don't believe in themselves.
And that's like what's happening nowadays with men. Like there's this idea that you have to be this David Goggins warrior man. You have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. You can't do anything bad. You got to this and this. And it's like, that man's not needed. A hard man is not needed right now. It's not needed. What's needed is a man that is true to his way, that is disciplined, consistent, has fortitude in his way, but also has compassion and understanding for others.
Okay.
The past man was just black and white. Tough, gnarly, screw you, get out of my way. But then this new man that's coming in is so soft and push him over and
that's a
don't
problem.
do anything, and you're offending me, and my loafers go great with my rolled up shorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there has to be a meeting in the middle. You have to have that man from the past that has fortitude, discipline, consistency, and honor.
Yep.
But then bring in this man with understanding and compassion and giving, right?
Yep.
That's and you don't have to be the best of anything. You don't have to be the fittest of anything, the richest of anything. You just have to have your roots. And that's what it is, because this new movement of this man that's supposed to do a marathon every day and lift all these weights and be super jacked and that's just stupidity, man. Those guys are having to cover up stuff.
And it's funny that
those guys are having to cover up stuff.
Yeah, it's funny you're mentioning that, because I have another friend of mine who's a personal trainer, and he's all about clean, no drugs, no anything, just natural. And he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he got into starting to train people, and he realized that the people that are wanting to be trained are all trying to jack up and get overnight success. They're all thinking that they can just, take some injections and do this and this and this, and next thing you know, they're going to be Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is because you have instant gratification from these phones.
Yeah.
You have the extraordinary, and then you put it down, you have the ordinary. And that's why these things are so addictive, because the extraordinary is coming up every 5 seconds. The ordinary takes maybe 3 days to change.
Yes.
Right? And so there's where people get lost also. And this is where, people are seeing so much of it on the Instagram that they go, I want to be that.
Yeah.
I need to change to be that. And it takes work to do that. It takes time to do that. Nothing in life changes overnight.
Is this what you would tell, let's say, a 14, 13-year-old kid who's probably in minis right now, wanting to become the next Jett Lawrence or Eli Tomac, would you just say, hey, you got to put your nose to the grindstone?
Yeah, I say it takes time.
Takes time.
Nothing is built overnight, but there's a lot of stuff that is torn down overnight, so to speak. And so you have to put your time in. You have to put your work in. You have to learn to master it, because you're not going to be good at anything or be great at anything until you master it.
Yeah.
And to master something takes a long time. And so don't be in a rush. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the kids, 99% of the kids that you're racing against right now will not be here in 5 years, will not be racing. You know, just like we talked about Loretta's, right?
Yep.
You got, over the last 5 years, you have 500,000 people probably qualifying for Loretta's.
Yep.
5 years, 15,000 people went to Loretta's.
Yep.
In 5 years, maybe 10 people have showed up on the start lines of a Supercross. Of those 10, maybe 2 had big contracts for 1-2 years, and that's it. And that's it. You know what I mean? So, you know, be very careful on how you go about the sport. Be very careful how kind of, you know, how much you take it for granted.
Okay.
You know, and be very careful of thinking that you're going to be something before you're something.
So you would say to that kid his likelihood of becoming a Major League Baseball pitcher or a football star or a basketball star is much greater than his ability to become a motocross star.
I wouldn't say that. You know, I would say they're probably level, just because of how many more football players and baseball players there are than motocrossers.
That's my point.
But athlete-wise and percentage-wise of risk to failure or whatever, motocross takes the cake.
Yeah. 100%.
Motocross will take the cake. You know, motocross is the hardest thing you'll ever do. You know, all 4 extremities moving at the same time, riding a motorcycle that produces 60 horsepower at 400 degrees in between your legs, with a track that's continually changing, with blurred vision under 100-degree heat, with riders all around you, and the ultimate consequence is death. So if you can find a sport that does that, then we can talk. But there's no other sport on earth that does that. And also for a duration of time, for 30 minutes, two times.
Yeah.
And also 4 times a week. Right?
That's a lot.
Whole different story.
Yeah.
Whole different story.
Yeah.
And so, you know, yes, it's hard to be the best pitcher in a quarterback, but a lot of those things don't come involved. What comes involved is you have a lot of competition. There's how many colleges, how many high schools, how many Pop Warner teams. It's very easy to go buy a helmet and some cleats and say, "Okay, go Johnny." But when you have to spend, you know, $20 to $100 a year just to keep your kid racing, and then you have an 8-year, 10-year, you know, amateur career before you even get there. Mom and dad just spent $1 million or $500,000, and with the risk of their kid not making a penny, not even be able to pay him back a penny, not paying back a penny.
Yep.
You know, and that's the sport. There's nothing at the end of your career. There's no help. There's no avenue. You know.
Yep.
And so that's what we're trying to create, is an avenue. You know, a foundation that will help people be able to go down roads to be able to make money and support a family. Like, you know, roads of, hey, I want to come into motocross and be in sales. Okay, well, get you to school to be able to do that. Hey, you know, an electrician makes $100 an hour. Oh boy, well, here's a road to do that. You know, all these things to be able to give people a road for when now what do I do?
Yeah.
Now what do I do? When that comes up, that's the thing. So many people, a lot of riders go, man, motocross is so hard. I laugh at them. I said, you haven't quit yet, have you?
Yeah.
And once you quit racing, that's when it gets hard.
That's
because now you don't know who you are.
Looking forward with Ryan Hughes.
Ryan Hughes.
It's up to Rhino to answer this challenge.
Your leader, Ryan Hughes, 105. Hughes on the inside. Hughes on the inside, though, trying to get a run at it.
Ryan Hughes has got a problem with the bike. He's trying to push it to the line.